Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Sheffield United Way video. Today, we're going to be talking about Stoke City versus Sheffield United. This is the match preview, but you already know that because you've already clicked on it. It's for tomorrow's game, 3 p.m. on Saturday. Unfortunately, we will not have a watch along for this due to Noah and Robert both being out of the country and out of the town respectively. Now, I'm not sure how respectful that is towards the channel, but we'll let them off just this once. If it happens again, phew, gone. No, I'm only joking, lads. I'm only joking. You're doing a great job. A big shout out to everybody that liked the QPR preview because I said, can we get to 100 likes? And what did you guys do? Absolutely smashed it. We ended up with nearly double, 195 likes. So I'm going to push you again, but it should be really easy because last time I asked for 100, we got 195. This time we want 150 likes. So I'm sure you guys can do it. Let's see if we can do it. A little mini challenge there for you. Again, we do not have Mr. Hal on the channel. And do you know what? Hal actually said the other day that Ollie was doing such a great job that he's never coming back. So what does that say?
I'm going to get so much hate if that's true.
It's not true. It's not true.
No, certainly it's nice to be here, Nick. Always enjoy doing the videos with you and previewing tomorrow's game, which hopefully can be a bit of a change in fortunes from the last week or so. We can draw a line under that and look forward for this one.
Yeah, I've titled this video not greatly. 3 games without a win, ? Let's hope it's not 3 games without a win. Let's hope we go and turn them over. But let's quickly pop up on screen all our fantastic members that give us money to keep this channel afloat. You are absolute legends. Also, big legends. Parrot Peel, of course. Stick or Twist. New album out now. NordVPN, also absolute legends. So if you want to sign up to NordVPN, it's on screen right now. All you got to do is go nordvpn.com/TSUW for a hefty discount. Now, let's talk, Ollie, about the last game, even though I don't want to. But I'll make myself bigger, and I will talk about the QPR game now. I was in a box. I was being wined and dined by people, and I am very happy about that. Not so much about the scoreline. Me and Hal's been in many a box, and we've only ever won 1 game whilst we're in a box. So, yeah, this certainly added to that. And no, it wasn't the best game. We had a lot of the ball. We created a lot of chances in the first half. Illiman's chance was probably the biggest, where he was just so composed in the box. A little bit too composed in the box, actually, because I think he had all the time in the world just to slide it in the corner. And actually, from where I was sat, it looked like it was just nestling in that bottom corner. But unfortunately, it just went wide of the post. And QPR, were they the better team? I'm not sure. But they caught us on the break a few times. It could have been 2 or 3-0. But also, we could have got ourselves back into this game. And certainly, in the last few seconds of the game, Sander having his shirt pulled, he goes down. He actually gets injured, but we'll talk about that when we talk about team news. But yeah, it wasn't one that we want to remember too fondly because we didn't play that well, I don't think, in the final third.
No, to be honest, I thought it was a poor performance generally from United, particularly second half. I thought first half, we had our moments where we were starting to get forward. We were maybe looking to put a few things together there. But second half, particularly once they'd gone ahead, it never really looked like we were getting back in the game. Like you say, they had a fantastic chance to make it 2-0. And yeah, we've got to go again. Injuries are huge. They are mounting up. But yeah, we need to go again, hopefully get a bit more of that fluidity into his performances and just start to look a bit better going forward because it's just looking a little bit predictable and a little bit slow at the minute.
Yeah, they do look like they're very leggy at the moment, and it's going to happen when we've got so many injuries and the defence is certainly looking depleted, but we may have some players back for this game. But like I said, we'll get onto that later. Last time out, Ollie, tell me all about it.
Last time out. So when we last played Stoke away from home, we were coming back off an international break. It was April the 2nd, I believe, last year. we'd got our injuries around this point, particularly up front. We were really, really struggling. And we started this game with Daniel Jebison at centre forward. So that shows quite how many injuries we got at centre forward. Now, for those of you who want to relive the game and you want to really get into the atmosphere of it, Nick and Hal did a fantastic vlog of their day at the Britannia or the Betsy, oh God, I'm a shocker, or the Bet 365, whatever it's called these days. It's a fantastic vlog. So definitely one for you guys to catch up on. But the game itself, that's how you plug. The game itself wasn't a classic. I've been sort of catching up on some of the stats, racking my memory for anything that happened. And to be honest, it was really, really dull. It's a game of few chances. There was one shot on target for either team. And it was really like one of those performances that United had a few times last season, particularly away from home, where we just couldn't quite get it going. So the main talking point came about an hour into the game, where United had a stone wall penalty turned down. Sander gets the ball on the break. He runs forward, plays it in to Reece Norrington-Davis. Norrington-Davis gets down his wing, and their man just cleans him out. An absolute shocker of a tackle. Just takes his legs out from underneath him. And I still, to this day, get a little bit angry when I watch that clip back because it's so obviously a penalty. But the ref didn't give it. 20 minutes later, sort of about the 75th, 77th minute mark, they go down the wing, a bit of a hopeful ball into the box. You know, they're in a decent position, but not doing anything. It cannons off Egan, deflects into the back of the net, and it's a 1-0 defeat for United. A poor performance on the road that we're really hoping for better from this time out, because that game wasn't a classic. I'd like it to be a better watch, and I'd like us to actually get something from the game. And if we have another Stonewall penalty turned down, I'm going to riot, because that was just so bad. Oh, what were your reflections of the game, Nick? Because obviously you were there. You had a great time with Hal, I'm sure.
We had a great time until the referee, the referee blew the whistle. That's where the W came from, the whistle. Yeah, at 3 p.m., that's where it all went wrong. I thought we were terrible all game. And I think Morgan Gibbs-White, if I remember rightly, was ill that night, but we didn't know until after the game. So I knew there wasn't something quite right with him, and he came off as well. And I'm thinking, when Morgan Gibbs-White gets brought off, we've got no hope. And I remember towards the end of the game, obviously, that penalty decision or lack of penalty decision was shocking. Especially Hal got the most perfect view of it as well on his phone for the vlog. And yeah, I think a lot of people commented on that. No one ever said that it wasn't a penalty. But yeah, we huffed and puffed, like you said, like a lot of away games last season. And yeah, the QPR game was a bit similar, but at least we created a few chances in the first half against QPR. The second half, not so much against QPR. But let's talk about the team and what injuries we've got and who is going to play, because as of right now, here we go. Let me run through the... Actually, no, I won't run through the injuries. I'll let you know that Enel could be back in this game, but I don't even know if Hecky knows if he's going to be fit or not. He's back on the grass, which is always good, and Hecky loves saying back on the grass. And we've seen, obviously, Hecky won September Manager of the Month, if you haven't seen that already. And Enel was in the picture, like he was on the grass, playing football, training. So fingers crossed, but I don't want us to rush Enel back. I don't want us to rush anyone back, to be honest, because it always ends in tears. It really does. Except for Bogle, actually, because I think Bogle came out of that quite well. He obviously came off with a bit of cramp, but it looks like it was just cramp. He was talking midweek, and they didn't say anything about his cramp or anything about his injury that he had to come off with. So I'm assuming that Bogle's going to be fine. Like I said, Enel could feature in this game. Baldock will miss out for definite. I am 100% sure about that, because Hecky was so downbeat about that, and it would have been really good to have got Baldock, Bogle, Norrington-Davis. That is 3 key players for us at the back. And then we've got, obviously, Max Lowe, Jack Robinson, Koulibaly, John Fleck, Ben Osborne, Enda Stevens, Kieran Clark, and those 2 new inductees to the medical room, George Baldock, Sander Berger. Sander, we're not 100% sure about either. They did a scan on him. He seems fine. They did an MRI scan. He seems fine. Sorry, we haven't found that out, so we don't know. And I don't really think that Hecky wants to let on what happened in the MRI scan, because if it's just kind of a bit of wear and tear and he's just took a knock, then he might be fine for this game. But I wouldn't put money on Sander playing in this game or starting this game anyway. We just can't seem to catch a break at the moment. So here's my predicted team. It might actually be the team that I want to see playing this game. But from those injury updates, hopefully Anel will be back and he will be playing right centre back, and Bash will play left centre back. Reece Norrington Davis at left wing back, Bogle at right wing back, still coming back from that injury. So if we are by some miracle 2 or 3-0 up, I'd like to see Bogle come off at some point just to make sure he doesn't pick up any more injuries, but I can't see that happening in this game. I think Norwood and Doyle will continue to play there because I think they've both been playing really well recently. A lot of people said that Norwood had a bad game. I thought Norwood had a terrific game against QPR, and he actually got into the team of the week. He was pinging balls left and right, trying to get us moving, and he got us moving. It was just the fact that every ball that he played to someone, they were on us straight away, pressurising us, pressing us to death. And I actually think QPR played really well in that last game. I've gone for Kadra instead of Berger in this game. It could be anyone. McAtee could be brought into there, but I'd like to see Kadra. It could also be Brewster, and we could play 2 strikers with Ndiaye just behind, and then Norwood and Doyle just behind them. And Billy Sharp I've gone for up front. If in doubt, Billy Sharp. That's the saying, isn't it, Ollie?
That's what I always say. If in doubt, Billy Sharp. Any scenario, I think that's appropriate. To be honest with you, Nick, that if that team plays, I am confident we will win. I think that is a fantastic team if we can get those players out, if we can get them fit and get them on the grass. Just depends on, like you say, whether or not they are all fit enough to do 90, if they're fit enough to start. But I'd like to see Kadra coming in as well. I think he gives us a bit more than Brewster. I think having that 2 behind the striker is what's worked so well for us. So, yeah, I hope you're right, because I'd really like to see that team.
Oh, good. I hope I'm right too, because I'll get another free pint from FanHub as well.
Always nice. Always nice to get a free pint. And I think actually that's a fantastic point from Alan that you've just put up on the screen there. Because Bogle on the left, I thought midweek, that was one of our issues. We were always forcing it central. Bogle on that left-hand side, cuts in on his right foot, and then there was no real overlap, no impetus to get down to the byline, down that left wing. So him on the right means he can go to the byline. It can give us a different option. And I think it just makes a big difference. I think it makes a really big difference.
Yeah. Good points, guys. Good points. So the opposition, Ollie, do you want to tell us about Stoke City?
Yes, so a little bit of news about Stoke City. So, first of all, who have they got on their long-term injuries list? They've got Harry Souttar, a very key centre-back for them. He's been out a long time. I think he did a cruciate knee ligament towards the end of last season. He's not expected to be back yet, so he's a big miss for them, and is potentially part of the reason that they've got such a struggle so far at the start of this season. They've got 3 other injuries that are going to be missing out. That's Gavin Kilkenny, centre midfielder, Jacob Brown, a striker who's a really dangerous player, and Sam Klukas. Now, how dangerous he is depends on a day-to-day basis, because he can either be brilliant or he can be dreadful. So I don't know if it's a bad thing that he's not playing or not. So what formation does Stoke line up in? So they generally play a weird kind of hybrid 3-4-3. That's what they went with against Burnley. They got a really good point there. But interestingly enough, their goal came after a sub and a slight change of formation. They took off Dwight Gale, put on a defender, the goal scorer, Harry Clark. So are we expecting them to stay the same? I'm not sure. They might see a little bit of a change, little bit of a tweaking system to use what they used towards the end of that game against Burnley. But for my prediction, I'm going to predict they are going to stay the same. They're going to continue to use that 3-4-3, and they're going to line up with Joseph Bursic in goal. Very highly rated young goalkeeper, plays quite a lot for the England under-21s. Think they mix him a little bit with James Trafford, but he's a really good keeper. So United need to make sure we're on it if we are going to get some chances. A back 3, I think they'll have Ben Wilmot, great defender. Phil Jagielka, who it's insane that I'm predicting is going to be starting championship games at the ripe old age of 40. But here we are. And then former Wednesday man Morgan Fox will probably join them in the back 3. across their midfield. So I think they'll have William Smallbone, a midfielder on loan from Southampton, starting alongside Lewis Baker. Lewis Baker has been their key man for this season, is their top scorer at the moment. He's one of those players who spent so much time going out on loan after loan after loan from Chelsea that you have no idea, A, how old he is, or B, how good he is. But what we have found out in his 18 months at Stoke is that he's a fantastic player, really dangerous, got an eye for a goal, and can really make a difference. So we've got to be careful. We've got to make sure we win that midfield battle. I think on the wings, they'll have Tariq Fosu, who's on loan from Brentford, and Dujon Sterling, who's on loan from Chelsea. Two quite exciting players. But again, I think we can win that battle if we have the team that Nick's put out there, because we've really got some strength in our fullback positions, if that is the case. They then use Dwight Gale a little bit behind the front two, which is interesting because I didn't predict that. But he plays a little bit deeper with Tyrese Campbell and Liam Delap playing up front. Liam Delap, he came with a big name, a loan from Manchester City. You think he's going to kick on. He's had a really poor start to his time at Stoke. So if he is playing, maybe he's a little bit rusty, and maybe that's something that's holding them back at the minute. And it's part of the reason they're struggling, because they're not getting goals from that front line. So hopefully that's a positive sign for us. A strong defence. If everybody's fit, we can keep them at bay.
Yes, absolutely. That sounded like a bit of a warrior cry then. That's what we need. We need a little bit of that in the dressing room. So what do you want to find out about the referee? Do you want me to tell you a little bit about this referee?
Tell me a little bit about this referee, and I'll see if I know any more than you. We'll see how we go.
I have a feeling that we might have the exact same notes because I stole it from Hal's tweet. So the referee for this game is Peter Banks. The last time he took charge I've not written this from Hal's tweet because I've completely written it wrong, and that's why I messed it up. So in the last 30 games, in all competitions, he's issued 125 yellows, 2 reds, and given 5 penalties, which I have no idea if that's good, bad, or indifferent. The last time he refed us, it was a 3-1 win away at QPR, where Ollie and Hal went. How was it?
It was awesome. And there is also a fantastic vlog that you can catch on the Sheffield United Way YouTube channel. But no, I think, slightly high on the penalties side, but in terms of cards, a little bit par for the course. I was looking at his stats from this season alone, just to see how that's looking. And he's given 43 yellows, but with no reds so far this season, which I think is quite interesting. It also seems as though he's not actually had a game for a while. I think the last game that he actually ref was Preston versus Burnley over a month ago. So is he going to be a bit rusty? I'm not sure what duty he's been on since then, but quite interesting that he's had such a break.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just looking at Michael's comment and thinking it's a tough place to go to Stoke. And do you know what? The last time we won at Stoke, I wonder if it was when Gary Cahill scored and Stoke were top of the league, I think. That is a long time ago. If anyone knows, let us know in the comments. Everyone wants to Google it right now. Go for it and pop it in the comments, because I've got a feeling that could have been the last time, because the season where we went up second, we drew on the last game of the season. We should have won because Shawcross should have been sent off. But we've gone through so many memories in this video, so many games. But yeah, it was such a fantastic day that at Stoke. Drew to all the players were pretty much hungover or still drunk, and we managed to pull out a 2-2 draw, which was fantastic. Let's talk now about score predictions, Ollie, because we've already done this on our championship prediction video. There it is. We always give a great shout out to it because we love it so much. We have a great laugh doing it. And yeah, if you haven't watched it already, make sure you go over there right now. And in that video, I'll give you a spoiler right now. I went for my first Blades defeat of the season, 2-1 to Stoke.
Yeah, I know. And to be honest, I can understand why. We've had so many issues after that performance against QPR. You can certainly see why you would be going for United to lose. Despite being such a pessimistic Blade, I actually think that we can win this game. I think Stoke had a really poor start to the season. I think they're little bit look like they're licking their wounds, and I think that means that we can really take a game to them. If we turn up, we put out our team that you've suggested, I think we can really punish them. We can get our season back on track after a couple of sticky performances. I think I'm going to go United to win 2-0. That's what I went for on the predictions. That's what I'm going to stick with.
Stick with it, mate. There's a couple of 1-0s there. Let us know in the comments and also in the live chat right now if you're watching it live. Let us know what you think the score's going to be. Now, finally, my favorite part of the video, we are doing player connections. And as you can see on the screen right there, Phil Jagielka is there. And he's wearing that lovely Stoke City red and white kit. Not as lovely as the Sheffield United one, but lovely to see red and white. Now, also, we've got Reece Narrington-Davies. They are the two that come off the top of my head, both current players for both sides. Also, I'll throw you an old one. Not many people will want to hear this name, but Steve Simonson.
Ooh, yeah, of course. Not a name I like to remember. So we can quickly shoot over that part of it. I've got a couple myself. I've got quite a nice one. Chris Kamara, obviously played for both. He also managed Stoke for a little bit of time, which is interesting. I know he wasn't a manager for long, but he was a short-term manager at Stoke City. I'll also throw out there, simply so I get to remember, that goal at Hillsborough. Ade Akinbayi. What a man.
Very good. Very good. Didn't do a hell of a lot for us. I'm not sure about his Stoke career either, but he had a lot of career a lot of his career was missing good chances, weren't they?
It was, yeah, and he wasn't a standout, but again, the goal at Hillsborough made it all worth it because that was an absolute peach, a peach of a goal.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. Yeah, I just saw that. Bournemouth 3-1. Okay, thanks for that. Completely different game, but thanks for that. I think we should leave it there on that. I don't know why he's ruined it. He's ruined it for us, Ollie. He's ruined it. He's gone with a completely different.
It's always good to hear how our former Championship friends are getting on in the Premier League. I think a 3-1 win for Bournemouth is very, very generous. It's not what I'd be predicting, but maybe when we're in the Premier League next year, Nick, we can do the Premier League predictions and let AFCB Fan TV know what we think about them.
Well, we certainly won't be doing a Bournemouth prediction next season, will we, if we're in the Premier League? Oh, sorry about that. Anyway, thank you very much for being here, Ollie, as always.
No, thank you very much for having me. Much appreciated, Nick.
And we will see you tomorrow for a match reaction. Thanks a lot, and we will see you next time.